Most people spend 30 years learning how to put money in. Almost nobody teaches you how to take it out. And I don't mean how much to take out. That conversation gets plenty of airtime. I mean the order. Which account first? Which source second? Which bucket do you leave untouched until the last possible moment? And why the wrong answer to that question can cost you more than a bad market year. The sequence of your withdrawal is as important as the size of them, maybe even more. That's what we're going to cover today. Welcome back to the Income Standard. Season 2 starts now. You're listening to the Income Standard, where retirement income is designed, not guessed. I'm Tod Long, and we're back for Season 2. Same standard, more precision, 8 more episodes going deeper into the structure of retirement income, the decisions that are already made, the ones that are still open, and the ones most people don't realize exist until it's too late to make them well. Season 1 built the framework. Season 2 uses it. Let's get into it. Welcome in, folks. Here's a question I want you to sit with. You retire at 65. You have 3 accounts: a traditional IRA with $800,000, a Roth IRA with $200,000, a taxable brokerage account with $150,000. You need $60,000 a year in withdrawals to supplement your guaranteed income. Which account do you draw from first? Most people answer that question with something like, whatever makes sense, or my advisor handles that. A few have heard about Roth last rules and try to apply them. Almost nobody has a written, sequenced withdrawal strategy that accounts for tax bracket, the RMD timeline, their Social Security inclusion thresholds, and their legacy goals simultaneously across every year of retirement. That absence, that missing sequence, costs people money. Real money. We're talking about 6 figures in additional tax paid over a 20-year retirement by people who didn't know the order mattered. Decumulation sequencing is one of the least discussed, highest impact decisions in retirement income planning. Most people make it by default. Today, you're going to understand it by design. Let me start with the conventional wisdom on withdrawal sequencing, and then we're going to complicate it in exactly the right ways. The standard framework goes like this: draw from taxable accounts first, then traditional pre-tax accounts, then Roth last. The logic is straightforward. Taxable accounts generate ongoing tax events as they grow. That's capital gains and dividends, etc. So depleting them first removes that drag. Traditional IRAs and 401k money is pre-tax, so you owe ordinary income tax when you take it out. You want to delay that as long as possible. Roth money is tax-free. It compounds without tax drag, and you can leave it as long as you want. Preserve it the longest. That framework is not wrong, but applied mechanically without looking at your specific tax situation, it can actually increase your lifetime tax bill. Here's why. The years between retirement and age 73 are often your lowest income years. Social Security may not have started yet, earned income is gone, and you're following the conventional rule and pulling from taxable accounts first. You're sitting in the 12 or 20%, 22% tax bracket and letting your traditional IRA compound untouched. Every dollar in that IRA that isn't converted or withdrawn in that low bracket window will eventually come out as an RMD in a higher tax bracket in a year when Social Security is also fully taxable, potentially triggering IRMA Medicare surcharges. The right withdrawal sequence isn't about following a rule. It's about managing your tax bracket across every year of retirement and filling that bracket intelligently every single year. The more precise framework Every year in retirement, look at your projected income from all sources. That's your guaranteed income, your Social Security, capital gains, dividends, and ask this question: how much space is left in my current tax bracket? Then, what's the most tax efficient source to fill that space with? Sometimes that means Roth conversions. Sometimes it means intentional IRA withdrawals before you're forced to take them. Sometimes it means in harvesting capital gains in a 0% year. The sequence is responsive, not static. Now, if withdrawal sequencing is this consequential, why doesn't every retirement plan include it? The honest answer has two parts. Part one is structural. The financial planning industry is largely organized around asset management. That's building portfolios, managing allocations, rebalancing. The business model centers on assets under management. That framework is excellent for the accumulation phase. It has almost no infrastructure for managing the tax sequence of withdrawals in distribution. The dashboards, the quarterly statements, the performance reports, none of them show you a year-by-year tax bracket projection. None of them flag when your IRA conversion window is closing. That work lives outside the standard model. Part two is complexity. Year-by-year bracket management across a 25-year retirement requires modeling that most planning software doesn't do automatically. It requires looking at Social Security inclusion formulas, IRMA thresholds, capital gains rates, RMD projections, and Roth conversion math simultaneously for your specific numbers, updated every year. That's not a one-time analysis. It's ongoing work. And most people don't know how to ask for it because they don't know it exists. Here's what that looks like in practice. A couple retires at 65 years old with $1.2 million in an IRA. Their advisor builds them a solid portfolio, gives them a 4% withdrawal rate, and tells them they're on track. That may be completely true, but if nobody runs the bracket projection for ages 65 through 73, the pre-RMD window, and nobody models how much of that IRA can be converted at 12% or 22% before forced distributions start at 73, the on-track assessment is missing one of the most expensive line items in their retirement. The accumulation expert manages your portfolio. The income engineer manages your tax bracket. Most investors don't realize there are two different jobs, or that the second job often has a larger lifetime impact than the first. This is exactly why sequencing has to be modeled with your actual numbers, not estimated, not assumed. A generalized rule applied to your specific situation is a starting point, not a strategy. And the difference between a starting point and a strategy, in this case, is often 6 figures. Before we get into the numbers, I want to pause and send you somewhere. On our website, theincomestandard.com, under resources, there's an accumulation versus distribution calculator. It's the 6th calculator on the page. It's not a tax calculator. It's a framework tool. It tells you what the shift from accumulation thinking to distribution engineering looks like for your own numbers. When does accumulation logic end and distribution logic have to take over? Take 90 seconds and run your numbers through it now. Because the case study I'm about to walk through is going to land very differently if you've just seen your own picture rather than listening to someone else's. Theincomestandard.com, resources, calculator 6. I'll be here when you get back. Two people, Richard and Carol, both retired at 66 with nearly identical assets. Richard has a traditional IRA of $900,000, Roth of $150,000, a taxable brokerage account of $200,000, his Social Security of $32,000 per year, monthly expenses of $7,000, which is $84,000 annually, an income gap to fill from savings, which is roughly $52,000 a year. So Richard follows the conventional rule. Taxable accounts first, about $50,000 a year for roughly 3 years until it's gone. Then he starts drawing from the IRA. By the time he's 69, his IRA has grown past $1 million. He wasn't touching it. His first RMD at 73, 4 years later, is approximately $45,000. Add in Social Security, he's now firmly in the 22% bracket with a large portion of Social Security taxable. IRMA triggers, his Medicare Part B premiums increase, and his Roth, which he never touched, sits at $250,000, growing untouched. Now, Carol, same age, same assets, same rough configuration. But Carol's advisor runs a bracket filling analysis every January. In year one, Carol draws $20,000 from the taxable account and converts $40,000 from an IRA to Roth, staying in the 22% bracket without crossing into 24. She pays the tax now at a rate she controls on income she chose. She does this every year through age 72, converting between $30,000 and $50,000 annually, adjusting for Social Security phase-in and capital gains in her taxable account. By age 73, Carol's traditional IRA balance is $580,000 instead of over $1 million. Her first RMD, $22,000 instead of $45,000. She stays in the 12% bracket. No IRMA, Social Security inclusion is lower, and her Roth, now $400,000, continues compounding tax-free. Same starting assets, same income need, approximately $230,000 less in federal income tax over a 20-year retirement. The difference is not investment selection. It's sequence and the discipline to manage it every year, not once at retirement and never again. So what does this look like in practice? Not as a concept, but as something you actually implement. Well, step one, get a year-by-year bracket projection before you retire. What does your income look like at 65, 68, 70, and 73? Where does Social Security start? Where do RMDs kick in, and at what size? That projection tells you how much space is available in each year's bracket and how much IRA money you can move at favorable rates. Step two, build a conversion plan for the pre-RMD window. If you have a meaningful traditional IRA balance, say $500,000 or more, and you're between 60 and 72, every year you don't model this is a year of the window you're not using. The window doesn't announce itself. It closes at 73 quietly. Step three, revisit the projection every year. Social Security COLA or cost of living adjustments, market returns, actual spending, all of these change the bracket picture. The conversion amount that was right at 67 may be too high or too low at 69. This is annual maintenance, not a one-time plan. Step four, coordinate with a tax advisor. The sequencing strategy lives at the intersection of income architecture and tax planning. I handle the income side. A CPA or tax advisor handles the execution. The two conversations need to happen together. A withdrawal sequence isn't a document you file once. It's a living part of your income architecture that gets reviewed every year because your tax situation changes every year, and the strategy should change with it. Let me address the pushback I hear most often on withdrawal sequencing, because some of it is legitimate and some of it needs a clearer answer than most people usually get. The first objection I usually get: my accountant already handles my taxes. Isn't that enough? So your accountant handles what happened. Income sequencing is about what you're going to do, which accounts to draw from, when to convert, how to manage the bracket for the next 3 to 5 years. Those are forward-looking income architecture decisions. Most accountants are skilled at tax compliance, filing accurately based on the year that just closed. Very few are running a year-by-year Roth conversion model looking forward 10 years. Both conversations need to happen. They're just different conversations. Objection 2. Converting up to Roth means paying taxes now. Why would I pay taxes earlier than I have to? Well, because earlier doesn't always mean more. If you're in the 12% bracket now, and you'll be in the 24 or 32% bracket when RMDs hit, converting now at 12 is paying less, not more. You're choosing the rate, not just the timing. The question isn't, should I pay taxes now or later? It's, what rate will I pay, and do I have the ability to choose a lower one? In the pre-RMD window, you often do. Objection 3. I don't have a traditional IRA. It's all in a 401k. Does this apply to me? Short answer, yes. At retirement or separation from service, most 401k balances can be rolled into a traditional IRA, which then gives you full flexibility to manage Roth conversions, withdrawals, and sequencing. The 401k structure is typically less flexible for this kind of planning. Rolling it to an IRA is usually the first step. If you've been accumulating in a traditional IRA or 401k for 30 years, and nobody has modeled your bracket projection for the 10 years before and after RMD age, that analysis needs to happen before these decisions get locked in. Schedule your income standard review at theincomestandard.com. No cost, no pitch, just a specific picture for your numbers. The income standard review includes a look at your income architecture and withdrawal sequence. We look at what you have, what's guaranteed, what's flexible, and specifically for pre-retirees with meaningful pre-tax balances, how many years of the conversion window remain and what each year of action is worth. This isn't a tax return. It's an income structure conversation. And it's the conversation that often produces the largest measurable impact of any planning work we do, because the numbers are large and the window is finite. Schedule at theincomestandard.com. No cost, no pitch. If you're within 10 years of retirement and your savings are primarily in pre-tax accounts, this is the most time-sensitive conversation in your financial plan. That's the income standard for this week, folks. If this episode gave you a framework you didn't have before, share it with someone who needs it. Forward it to a friend who's 5 years out from retirement and still thinking in terms of balance sheets instead of income architecture. And if you're ready to measure your own income structure against the income standard, the review is waiting for you at theincomestandard.com. Again, no pitch, no cost, just measurement. Episode 10 is next week, and we're tackling the one retirement income decision you cannot undo once you make it. and that's Social Security. When to file, how to file, what the delay really costs, and what it really buys. In the one scenario, the standard break-even analysis misses entirely, which changes the math for almost every married couple. I'm Tod Long. We'll chat next week.